And good morning. Look at this weather. Finally, springtime has hit Idaho. It is April 25th, about 10:30 in the morning. And I know I'm scattered everywhere. I got a Learjet in Hawaii. I've got a plane down in Cuba. But I am not going to pass up this Idaho weather. So we got us a little cub. I do have it topped off with fuel, and we are loaded up. It's there, 100% fuel, two people, and a 10-pound bag, so not bad at all. Um, I chose the three-wheel tricycle gear. Look at that, it looks like it's smiling. It's happy too. Um, I just kind of prefer tricycle. I can do the other type, but I kind of prefer. This is the first time I've flown this plane, so I've flown the other Cubs. It's pretty much all the same. There's our flap leather. Let's test that out. Yep. So we have 1 notch, 2 notch, and 3 notch of flaps. Okay, that's good to know. This does have a stick. Unfortunately, I have to fly with a yoke. There's our fuel selector. It's not very well marked, but this is, I think, the left tank, right tank, and off. So you just switch, switch. We do have to change our fuel tanks on this. So, and there's our fuel gauge right there. There's our left tank, and there's our right tank. So you just gotta I'll start a clock on my yoke, and we'll switch it. Pretty simple. Let's test our throttle. It works. Our prop. It works. And our mixture. It works. The only thing I can't not get to work on this plane is actually starting it with the key right there. So, with all, it's a front and back seater. So this should be fun. Let's see what switches work. There's my master switch. There's my alt. And avionics works. Fuel pump works. We have a pitot heat tube. I do not see where a switch is for that. And cowling. I don't see anything work for that. Panel lights, we'll just turn on. Beacon. Nothing for a beacon. Nav works. Strobe works. Landing light. Or that's a taxi light and landing lights. My landing lights don't work. So what we'll do is I'll just deal with my lights all just right here. I'll do them by finger. So we'll just turn the nav on. We can either have pulse or steady for our landing light. Okay, let's go full rich, full prop, about a quarter crank on the throttle. And let's see. See, all it does is crank over and it'll never fire, just crank. So I have to come over here, and I believe it is Control E. There we go. So I don't get to use my switch on my dash is all. Okay, everything is good. Fuel pump off. That must not work. We'll see what everything else works here. So let's just turn on everything light-wise. There's our rudders. They are working. I do not know. Okay, that was our parking brake. Okay, I think everything is looking good. Okay, what we're gonna do today, this is going to be a pretty fun flight. And what I need to do is to put 113.5 in my nav. $113.5 for my nav. Okay, VOR1 is up. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to fly up in the mountains. Let's go ahead and just turn that on. And there's our communication radio. I don't see a nav radio. Where's our nav radio at? I got my switches here, but anywho, I got my switches here for a reason. So we're gonna fly up to Salmon, Idaho, and it's kind of a big deal up here. Everybody goes fishing this salmon, the North Fork salmon. Everybody goes up there for weeks all the time and does steelhead fishing from the fish that come up to lay eggs. They've made a journey all the way to the ocean up here. And my brother done it, my brother-in-law done it, 90% of my friends do it, my families. So we're gonna fly up to Salmon, and the best part of Salmon for me is actually flying the river canyon. It goes on absolutely forever, and it is absolutely amazing. So we're in Aberdeen, just a little ways from my house, and I thought it would be a great way to spend the day. And this is a little bush plane, and this little thing will do anything I want it to do. Get my camera angle set here. I got my VOR set for salmon. The winds are calm. It's an absolutely beautiful day. I'm gonna fly this and then I am out of here and I'm gonna go enjoy the day myself. Real time, real weather, of course. That's my gig. Let's just pull down one notch of flaps. I should have had my camera set a little better before flap up. Not quite sure where we're gonna spend the night. Gonna hit Salmon, top off the fuel tank, and then fly the canyon. I don't know whether to go to McCall, Riggins, Lewiston. So we're kind of gonna fly central Idaho, because we're in southeastern Idaho right now, the farmlands. We're gonna cross the desert and we're gonna be in the mountains. Okay, let me get some mixture work done here. Let's just... Okay, let's just kind of... I think I'll just stick this. I do have autopilot. I think I'll fly it by hand for a little while to get used to this plane, because I'm going to be doing some pretty strong flying. But there's the mountains right there in front of us. Start my timer. It says we're burning about 11 gallons per hour. I need to get that down a little bit. Let's do 2,400 on the prop. There's 10 gallons. And let's see what 20 does. That gives us 10 gallons. So I'm thinking about every 15 minutes I should swap. Or I won't be able to do a lot of swapping of fuel when I'm flying the canyon, so maybe we'll burn all the way until I drop into the canyon, then I'll switch tanks right in Salmon. Hopefully I won't be too off balance. We'll just do some sight seeing. Figured our first leg we'll go up to Salmon, top off. Oh, that's right, I was gonna get fuel in Salmon. I definitely don't want to run out in the back country. Yeah, I'll just figure out my fuel management in my brain and I think we'll fly this today. Get to Lewiston. Then maybe fly up northern Idaho like Coeur d'Alene. Maybe fly Glacier National Park in Montana. Whip over to Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. That's just going to be pretty much mountain flying the whole time. Now let's dial in our... Alright, there's our heading to Salmon. If I just turn straight there, we'll be in Salmon. Use my dashboard. Winds would be nice. Even though the winds are climbing. There's our altitude. Oh, there we go. Alright. There. Oh, nice. It's got a nice little nav system. don't see any place to get like winds or anything like that, so. There's our zoom. Map page, heading and altitude. So yeah, it's a nice little system. Oh, what about if I go to map? Oh, that's it. Just trying to see if there were any special. Alright, here's the edge of the desert. I'm gonna fly across the lavas. Looks like we got a few clouds sticking around up there. That's what it looks like on my sectionals. We're flying to the Salmon VOR. The minute we hit the Salmon VOR, it's pretty much nestled on top of a mountain. Once we hit the VOR, we're going to turn to a heading of 040 and dive. And our airport should be right in front of us. We'll be up there to get over these mountains though, so the airport's down in a valley. But once we hit that VOR, turn to 040 and start diving. Now what I think I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and nav. Might as well have the plane fly itself right now. So we're gonna fly directly to the VOR. I have no idea distance wise. It's not a DME. Which means what? Distance measuring equipment. I could cheat and use the GPS, but what fun would that be? And I'm believing a nice safe altitude for us will be. Should we start at 10.5 and see what that looks like? Okay, now this one I can't climb by airspeed. I have to climb by vertical speed, so I'm just gonna throw in 800 feet per minute. But if I keep it this way, it will stall. Oh, I lied. It does have a right there. Climb out at 91. Okay, I'm finding my buttons. We have ISA, VNav, vertical speed, altitude, flight direction, nav, approach, and heading. Alright, we're good. We're just gonna slowly climb up there. My speeds are 70 or lower for my flaps, or about 118 into my yellow speeds. I'm not quite sure where my maximum speed's at. I'll just familiarize myself with the plane as we fly. Let's see. So you can see our fuel drop down just a little bit. That's actually just a sight tube, so. And there's our radios. Things are real compact in these things, but. And so for 8 minutes of fuel burn, it's just come down a little bit. So it looks like usable fuel is on the left. Not quite sure why we have two. Oh, 15, 23, 23. So the left side's probably total gallons and the right side is usable fuel, which gives you a reserve. So you don't want to go your 2 zeros, the one's way farther down there, that's empty, but the one on the right's a little bit higher, but that's usable fuel. So that is our gauge. We'll fly by, and with that one, the left. So the rear is the one we're actually gonna that's kind of cool. Flap lever, we can actually see out the top of our plane. We have a trim and a stick. Kind of wish I had a stick for this one, because I'm gonna have to, I've been looking at them, a throttle and a stick. The one I want. It's amazing how much money I can wrap up in this stupid simulator. Okay, let's do a little mixture test. Down to 8 gallons an hour. Oh, sorry, 9 gallons. I was looking at my fuel PSI. Fuel gallons per hour burn is 9. And there's the big butte out to the right window. We've flown around that one, and all the dirt bike trails and car trails and places to play out here in the desert. Pretty good. You can actually hear the wind blowing by in this plane. What's this menu? Oh, look at that. Oh, there's our nav. I don't want communication, so I want nav. Alright, there's our aquafree. Okay. Just give me something to do. Once I get to Salmon, we're gonna fly north out of Salmon to the canyon, down the river. Our next VOR is going to be Lewiston, Idaho. And our Lewiston, Idaho VOR is 108.2. 108.2. Okay, we're just going to leave that there on standby, and then once we leave Salmon, all I gotta do is hit enter, and bam, there we go. Let's see if it stays actually now. No, well, we had a great idea. Okay, we have flight plan. We have a display. We got procedures. We have the map. Active flight plan procedures. So, okay, there's just the same direct button. Nearest airport. Perfect. And set up only main menu. Puts us back, and there's our radios. So and map. Okay. The city of Arco is right ahead of us, next to that mountain. There's an Arco airport, a little off to our left. So we still got snow on the mountain, so we got some greens and some snow. It'll be interesting to see what our mountain looks like. We're not very high. The altitude's gonna be, I mean, we got a lot of peaks that are high. But where we're actually gonna be flying, I think, going down the river, we should be 3,000 feet. Salmon Airport is at 4,000 feet. So that's at the top. And then once we start down the canyon, following the river, of course, downstream gets lower and lower. And Lewiston, Idaho is actually a port. They can bring barges from the ocean. Lewiston is the end of the ports. So you can come up the Columbia through locks all the way from the ocean to Lewiston, and then that system is no longer, can't go any farther. And the Salmon River that we're going to be flying, the fish swim all the way from the ocean up here. So they go steelhead, fishing, salmon, all come up here to lay their eggs. And it is a big thing for people close by. They take their trailers up there and they will camp for a week. My brother used to go up there for a week to 10 days. And yeah, other family members would go up there. I've never been. I've always owned a business, and the minute you leave Salmon and head down the dirt road, cell service ceases to exist. And I could never be away from a phone. I was always on call 24/7. Every day is my life. So I never did get to go down there. But we will fly it. I should probably fly it around 80 to 90 knots at a couple 100 feet off the ground in a canyon with the canyon walls, I don't know, good. I'm sure there's a few places where they're a couple 1,000 feet above me, if not higher. Looks like the peaks around the Salmon River, 10,000 feet, and I'll be flying at 3. So yeah, the mountains can be 7,000 feet taller than we are. We could have just started in Salmon, but I thought it might be kind of nice to fly from the farmland across the desert, and here's the magic little line of the mountains that start. Because you just leave the desert. And there's some mountains south of us, but nothing like this. it's pretty much like this for the rest of the state of Idaho, so. Arco should be, oh, it's already covered up by our, there's the Arco Airport, right there. There's two ways to get to Salmon in a car. It is a long drive. Probably, what, 4 hours? You can drive that road right there. Goes up that canyon, or I don't think we can see it. Or that highway right there connects to another highway over there, which goes up that canyon. Both of them meet in the middle. So you can either go up this highway or go up this highway, and they both connect. Salmon is somewhere up here, a couple mountain ridges away. Okay, we're at 20 minutes. What does that look like? Yeah, we're down a ways, aren't we? Looks like it's all not quite burned 3 gallons. That one's still full, so let's go down here. Now we're switched to the right. I will reset my clock and we'll do a 20-minute burn on that tank. I really like to have both. Tanks draw from the same time. Not quite sure. Let's see if I push this. Does that reset my heading bug? And it does not. I'll have to hand fly it around these mountains. Direct VOR is going to put us into a pretty high mountain ridge, which is easy. I'll just switch to my heading and bring my bug up to the front. We're getting some bumps off the mountains, but not too bad. We could check and see what some ATISs are that's nearby. Arco we just passed. There's no ATIS there. No ATIS there. There's Sun Valley.
Haley Airport information Alpha 1700 Zulu. Wind 287 at 12. Visibility.
So 287 at 12. So yeah, we got some wind today. Should have got a little earlier start, I guess. hopefully we won't get a lot of wind down in the canyons, or that'll make for a pretty rough ride. I don't know how far downriver we'll fly. I think we could spend easily an hour flying a river canyon. It's that long. It just goes on forever. But we'll see how long I can go before I get tired, because there's a lot going on. It's like a roller coaster ride that never ends. So flying like this is pretty simple. The plane's flying itself. But flying in a canyon like we're going to be doing, there's a lot going on. No autopilot. You got to read the river channel ahead of you. You got to... And I have a yoke and not a stick, so that's a little... I'd prefer a stick, is a lot quicker. But I gotta do a turn, which means turn left or right on my yoke to get my roll, and I'm either gonna pull back to keep my altitude as I turn, and as I come out of my turn I gotta go let loose or go forward to decrease. And I also gotta step on my rudder pedal just a little bit. That's what I'm doing right now. Whichever direction I turn, it gives you a coordinated flight. Because the plane, once you put it in a roll, I mean, it will turn, but it just kind of slides. And I gotta kick on my rudder to kick the back of the plane around to actually do a coordinated turn. So your feet are doing something, your hands doing something, your eyes are doing something, and you gotta keep your altitude. There is a lot going on, so fatigue jumps in there pretty quick. We'll see. I don't think we want to spend an hour just flying down the river. What's my maximum? We're flying a 323 degree to the VOR. Oh, I do have a 13,000 foot. That range in front of us is 13,000 feet on this sectional. So let's just kind of fly to this side. We'll fly up here past Mackey and Chalice. Oh, what's the other town that's up here, or area I should say? Darlington and Mackey, and on up the canyon to Chalice. And when we hit Chalice, there's a little airport in Chalice there too. We can see on our map right here though, here's the canyon that the highway goes. here's the other canyon the highway goes, and Salmon's going to be up there and to the right a little bit at the end of these mountains. So we're flying away from our VOR. Maybe we should fly down this little canyon. We'll cut through this mountain ridge here. Stay as close to the VOR heading as possible. Don't want to do a lot of extra flying if we don't need to. Getting some bouncing around the mountains. What does this button do? Oh. It's kind of cool. Gets rid of all of your mapping. That's kind of cool. this track worked a lot better. We're just skimming right along the mountain and we're still pointed or pretty close direct to our VOR, so we're cruising at 98. Our ground speed is 122.3. So we got a pretty good tailwind then. Everything is blowing with us for our first time. Usually bucking it, but the flight from Florida to Idaho in the one day was horrendous. It took all day long. And I think, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 fuel stops. That was a very long day. We got about 12 minutes on a fuel burn. Okay, it's coming down that tube. Very inconvenient having them behind your head like that. I'd much rather have a fuel gauge right here or something. But there's not a lot to these planes. They're really light. What does our fuel pressure do? If we turn a fuel pump on, doesn't do anything, does it? Fuel PSI. Thought that might increase, but it doesn't. I think let's see what it does when I hit my nav. I think we should be fine. It'll try to get us back on track without hitting the mountain, hopefully. I'm just glad the weather has finally got decent. I've been getting excited for some mountain flying like this. Why this button doesn't work? Got your battery button. I'm gonna fly right down this valley, and then that next set of mountains, I believe, we'll be getting close. I'm not quite sure how to edit these videos. If you want to see the whole flight, this is actually low enough to where you can actually see something. What's that little airport right there? Really can't read it. OID2. OID2. Where is that at? Must be Flying Joseph Ranch. It's a private OID2 because I do not see it on the sectional for OI, but I do see I bet that is a private airfield. Nice. Look like a private strip. Oh, there we can read it now. Off, right, and left. When the sun's shining on it, you can read it apparently. I couldn't see that before. Or I just wasn't looking. Okay, I think we're getting close to Chalice. I think right up this green canyon here. I'm believing Chalice is somewhere right there or up here a little bit. No, maybe not. not sure what that's about, because that's not the one we're going to. We're going to Salmon, but we're not going to that one. Oh, there it is, OID2, Joseph Ranch. Yep, that was it. Because we are going to SMN. Oh, Lemhi County. That is a little weird. Lemhi County Airport is in Salmon. So where is this Salmon? KTAI. I did know the answer to that. There's Chalice. Getting bumpy. And there's Dylan. I don't see a Salmon. That's a little strange. Has to be a fairly good size airport. Anywho, let's see what our winds are.
Kilo Sierra Mike November automated wind
Winds are calm.
confirmation 1700 Zulu. Wind calm.
That's what we want to hear, is winds calm. So we can land any way we want. I'll have to do a little research on that. I mean, it's close by, but I don't see it on my sectional at all. Has to be a fairly good size airport having a K on it. Let's just do it the simple way, shall we? Oh, come on. Of course it won't. Why would it? KTAI. Let me do a little search. KTAI. Go. 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 Okay, I did a search on my sectional and it does not even know it's there. And of course it's a traffic. So can't even talk to anybody, so yeah, I don't know. Oh, we're getting into the good stuff now. Better pay attention. Let's better get my sectional. Yeah, that doesn't exist on my section. That's why I can't find it. But we are flying to Salmon, Idaho, which is the Lemhi County Airport. So basically what we're going to do, I could cheat and have the map up. We're gonna just watch this green. We're flying towards it right now, and I believe it's on top of this hill right in front of us, because it is up on the top. The minute this starts to go off course and spin around, I'm gonna turn to a heading of 040, which we might want to do that right now. I'm going to start flying a heading. So now my plane's not going to chase that needle at all. We're going to maintain this direction with a little wind correction. So when that needle starts to do something drastic, we'll just turn to a heading of 040. We'll fly right to the airport. So we got 6,000 feet to drop because I are at 4,000 feet's the airport. So we'll drop 6,000 feet. And it's not going to be very far. So I'm going to say our VOR somewhere here in our airport's going to be, probably can't see it yet, I'm going to say it's right behind that mountain ridge down in that valley. That's my guess. I don't think we're going to fly over another mountain ridge. There are quite a few mountain ridges, but we're parallel the one to my right. And we fly into a mountain ridge. It goes left to right. So I'm thinking, looks like it's right on the top ridge. But we got a ridge coming up, a ridge coming this way, and a ridge going this way where the VOR is. So and I'm glad the clouds are staying up because we're going to be deep in the canyon. So we're going to be flying in something like this at about 100, 200 feet. We'll never hear the 500 feet guy. I think we should be good on fuel. We swapped. Should be on the right tank. Oh, we're on the left. Looks like we burned a little more out of our left taking off and stuff, so we'll just finish off. I hate managing fuel. Okay, see our needle's starting to move a little bit. It could have been us on a wind correction, but I think we're close. It is a little turbulent up here. So what we could do is we could turn this to a 040, and the minute we cross that line, we turn to it. I got a feeling our VOR is going to be right here on this peak. But we can see our line still maxed out, so. So we're going to have, the way the sectional looks is there's this mountain ridge here, this ridge, and that ridge, and we're just going to fly right down that canyon, is what it looks like to me. I hope I've got the right mountain ridges. I'm ready. But I could be wrong. I really never paid attention on the map if you can physically see the VORs. I think you can around the airports. They kind of attach them with the airports. But I don't know what they look like. Like up here on a mountain ridge or something, if they actually, if you can physically see them. It says I'm flying away from it. Alright, I gotta make sure. Okay, the needle flips right there, so I just want to make sure I'm flying towards the line. Okay, we're close. Yep, we just flew over it. So our airport should be at 40, so I am going to fly at a 60. Take off the autopilot. And let's find our airport. There's our 040, and yes, we will be flying away from it. Okay, 040, I believe that is our airport right there. So, yep, that's our airport. Okay, right on the 040. Now we just need to get rid of a bunch of altitude. And it's a pretty good airport. I mean, it's not a dirt strip or nothing. It is a legit. We could fly any of our planes. Probably our jet could fly in here. Alright, I'm gonna have to level off, bleed some speed off. We're gonna have to bring in some flaps to actually pull this off. And there we go. There's 1 notch, 2 notch, 3 notch of flaps. Now we can pitch over and lose some altitude without doing 100 miles an hour. This thing flies fast. I'm surprised. Yeah, I thought this would be a lot slower. I thought I could bring the engine back to an idle, which it is. But we're we're dropping quite a bit, but yeah, I'm not. I thought I'd come down on 40 knots and
500.
we'll make her though. Probably the minute I trim back the plane, because we're dropping 1,500 feet a minute, the speed's just gonna die on us. But we're good. We're good, we're good, we're good. Welcome to Salmon, Idaho. Now the fun begins. Gonna top off our fuel tanks. Yeah, this thing books right along. Better have to do some practice landings before I take this into a dirt strip. This is when I like the tricycle gear compared to the tail. dragger. The visibility's so much better when you're taxiing and run around airports. Okay, here we are. 4,040 feet is exactly what my sectional says we should be. 4044 as a matter of fact. Yeah, there's a jet here, so our TBM could fly here, our jet, any plane we have could actually be here. Feels like the plane really identifies how fast you're going. Because now that I've slowed down, there is zero thrust at an idle. And as we were coming down the whole time at a dead, I mean, I had her completely idled. Seemed like the engine was still producing a bunch. So I have to learn. It might be a quirk on the aircraft. You gotta learn these aircrafts. They're all got some flukes here and there. See, that's at a complete idle, and we're boogieing. Alright, let's just zip on over here, and this should top off our fuel tanks. Let's see. Not yet. Not yet. I thought once we got close to these, it just automatically fill our plane, but might be wrong, or might need to get a little closer. Let's see what that does. Nope, I'm wrong again as usual. Alright, let's get our stuff together and we will get out of here.